So I'd like to welcome everybody here to Hong Kong U, and what I'm really pleased about is that there's a very diverse group of people from very different backgrounds, and I think this is part of the key issue or the novel aspect of this conference on China and the sea. I'm here representing the Swire Institute of Marine Science, which is a research facility of the Faculty of Science of the University of Hong Kong. And so I've got a very, if you like, natural science and physical science outlook. At SWIMS we have a number of scientists who are working on coastal ecosystems from a very biological and a very physical sciences approach, looking at coastal ecosystems. And so I think that that's something which we bring to this diverse group which is going to be speaking here today and tomorrow, of course. The other thing I think is that we are bringing together a group of people who have got interest in this common body which is the sea or the ocean, depending on what scale we're talking about. At SWIMS, one of our major missions that brings together all our researchers is that we have a drive to understand the multiple impacts which are facing our coastal ecosystems. And we want to use that understanding to try and develop ways that we can maintain the integrity and indeed the sustainability of the seas for the future. And as we're all aware, that's a major task, and it's the reason why we're all sitting here in this room today. I think it's another reason why we all happen to be here today is that we're in Hong Kong. And as you know, Hong Kong is one of the largest urban environments in the world, and we sit in the world's probably biggest megalopolis in South China. And so, of course, the coastal ecosystems which we see here are facing probably more intense pressures than many other places in the world. And if we extend that viewpoint a little further, going up into China with the special economic zones developed along the coast, Shanghai, Qingdao, Xiamen, then this problem is one which extends all along the South China coastline. And I think it's something which really does focus what we should be doing in this region to think about it. At SWIMS, we kind of see ourselves as being, if you like, a crystal ball. Hong Kong is almost a crystal ball to what many coastal cities around the world will actually become in the future. We've probably gone a lot further down that line of degradation and destroying the environment. And what we're trying to do now is try and find out how we can actually manage that in a more sustainable way. And maybe what we learn here can be applied to other different places. Despite the fact that we have this huge anthropogenic pressures, we also have still a lot to protect. Hong Kong has 25% of the biodiversity in terms of numbers of species that we find in China. That's 25% of the whole of the China coastline, which has Hong Kong's coastline is less than 1% of that of China. And so we still have an incredibly rich biodiversity which we need to try and protect and conserve. It's not just biodiversity though. As we all know, one of the reasons why these cities have developed is that they rely on their maritime infrastructure. They rely on the maritime area for ports and harbours, but also natural resources as well. And the theme of the conference, as we all know, is trying to look at how we can work towards sustainability. Sustainability, though, won't just come from, for example, marine scientists, natural scientists. It needs a variety of different multidisciplinary inputs. And I think this is where the real strength of this conference actually is housed in the fact that it's brought together a huge diversity of people from different backgrounds: economists, managers, social scientists, biologists, physical scientists, and of course interested general public and green groups. And so I'm very hopeful that we can all contribute our small part from this conference to try and build towards thinking about how we tackle this issue, whether we have the ocean, which of course is an open resource, but how do we manage it, or how do we try and maintain its integrity and its sustainability. I'd like to finally end by thanking the French Consulate of Hong Kong and Macau for being able to work to pull this together. And I'd also especially like to thank Christelle, who's done a lot of work to pull this together as well. SWIMS is very pleased to be part of that. Hong Kong U is very pleased to be part of that. And I'd like to welcome you all here on behalf of Hong Kong U and SWIMS and look forward to the next 2 days. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.